It's a fight for third place in the USL Championship's Western Conference. Tonight's broadcast is presented by the Better Business Bureau and its team shoulder to shoulder in the standings. Colorado Springs holds a precarious 3-point edge over New Mexico United. Can the home team keep third place themselves? That's a question tonight from Widener Field with Chris Nurse. I'm Brian Pierce. Chris, a look at these standings. These teams are right in the thick of things out west.
Yeah, both of these teams are competing now for the playoff places. They're probably not going to make the first place. They're not going to be regular season champions. Now it's to see who's going to have the home championship, who's going to be the team hosting at home in the playoffs. Both of these teams want to have that home advantage. They want to bring that entertainment to the fans. They want to keep that focus and momentum going towards the postseason. So it's very important they have a good performance tonight.
It wasn't the offense that spurred the Switchbacks' 1-0 win against Tampa Bay last week, but the team is still second in the league in goals scored.
Yeah, and you can see a great follow-up here. The earlier goal, tap in some of the easiest goals you're going to get, but you have to be in the right place at the right time in order for luck to come your way. And on these occasions, perfect for Colorado. Enriquez getting himself on the score sheet, picking up momentum and confidence at the right moment in time.
Chris, you brought up Enriquez. He has been one of the team's best players since moving stateside from El Salvador. He is our Modelo player to watch tonight as we look at the Colorado Springs Switchbacks starting lineup. They're led by Haji Berry. He's been such an incredible player, MVP last year, and of course the lineup presented by Phil Long.
Yeah, as you can see, they're going to play a 3-4-3 formation, which gives them a lot of strength when they're attacking in the wide areas, but it does leave them open when they're defending in the wide areas also. But I guess that's an area where the head coach Brendan Burke feels like he can exploit New Mexico, is getting at them in the wide areas. We know that New Mexico are very strong defensively, but this is where he feels like he can exploit their weakness.
Now, we've mentioned Jairo Enriquez a couple times. He's been one of the best team's best players since moving stateside from El Salvador. Our Modelo player to watch, really fun, talented player.
Yeah, and the key is that he's starting to pick up momentum and the team's starting to get stronger at the right time. Everybody wants to start well, but we all know that how you end well is probably the most important part. Taking that momentum into the playoffs, picking up clean sheets, your attackers getting on the score sheet. He's picking up that momentum at the right time. He's become very important for this team.
Deep and dangerous are two words to describe New Mexico United, especially away from home, with a 7-2-4 record on the road.
Yeah, this is a great strike here from Wee on this set piece. Goalkeeper's not going to get anywhere close to that. And again, this is a team who has one of the strongest defenses in the league, but they've not been so strong in their past 5 games. They've only picked up 1 win in their past 5, conceding 9 goals and scoring just 5. So New Mexico are on a bit of a rocky pathway right now. They're going to want to start to get themselves together as the postseason approaches.
Here is the starting lineup presented by Phil Long. Lots of ways to beat you, but it's their elite defense that really stands out.
Yeah, both teams actually mimicking each other's formations, and as we just spoke about, when you're defending, it leaves you vulnerable in the wide areas. So it's going to be interesting to see which team has the most quality to take advantage of the weakness.
Plenty of names to pick out there, but Justin Portillo is our Modelo player to watch tonight for the black and gold. Second in the league in chances created. The offense really starts with him.
Yeah, Portillo, second in league in chances created, but he's also got himself on the score sheet 6 times. So he doesn't just have the capability of creating chances for his teammates, he has the ability to finish chances for himself. So an all-round, very, very influential attacking player here. Going to be very important tonight.
He'll need to be big tonight. Nico Brett is out of the game, their leading goal scorer. The anticipation builds tonight. Big matchup between Colorado Springs and New Mexico United as Portillo is going to lead his team onto the field, but the players' walkout is presented by Children's Hospital. Switchbacks walking out onto the field, always one of the most special moments of the night. Can the Switchbacks hold on to third place out west, or will New Mexico United steal the show? We answer that question next. Colorado Springs, New Mexico United, the Four Corners rivalry is coming up.
Some of the easiest goals you're going to get, but you have to be in the right place.
Colorado in this fully loaded 4xe Jeep Wrangler, and now is your chance to win big. Snap a pic of yourself enjoying Colorado's outdoors. Submit that to fox21news.com. Plus, tune in to Loving Living Local for special segments highlighting things to do and places to see in our beautiful state. At the end of the year, one lucky winner will receive a gift certificate for a prepaid 2-year lease on a brand new Jeep from Perkins Motors. So, show us how you outdoor Colorado.
Calling all Switchbacks fans. Now is your chance to be featured on Loving Living Local. All you have to do is submit your best fan photo on our website for a chance to be featured on Loving Living Local. with our host, Nava. And you'll receive a fan swag goodie bag full of awesome Switchbacks gear. For your chance to be our winner, just go to fox21news.com under the Sports tab and click Switchbacks FC to enter.
Is your animal so photogenic you can't stop taking pictures of them? Whether it's exotic, funny, or just plain cute, we want to share it.
You know, they look like a J. Crew catalog. If these were 55-year-old men just hanging out on a leather couch.
Right. Go to fox21news.com/petpics, submit your photo, and watch for your pet during the morning weather forecast. Pet Picks on Fox 21 is sponsored by Furry Friends Incorporated, the pet food store that comes to your door. We are Southern Colorado.
Saturday during the summers was our get up and go to Monument Lake fishing. From a little hobby as an 11-year-old kid, it's turned into quite a business.
Our stories matter.
If they're on the trails, if they're in the woods, if they're anywhere, I can be with them now.
Bringing you the most local news.
All of the people that are doing this type of agriculture are trying to do a better thing for society.
We are Fox 21, and together we are Southern Colorado.
From Widener Field, a four corners rivalry getting set. Colorado Springs and New Mexico United. Ryan Pierce, Chris Nurse, Chris. Massive matchup between two teams battling for third place in the Western Conference.
Yeah, and of course, both of these teams want to ensure that they're performing to their maximum potential going into the playoffs. There's nothing worse than going into the postseason and you're not performing well, not getting the results that you want. You want to take good spirit, you want to take good energy, good momentum in the postseason. So hopefully both of these teams can continue what they've been doing over the course of this season. Sometimes you find that teams get burnout, and despite having very strong regular seasons, they go into the postseason and exit very early. So how they finish now in terms of mentality, professionalism, their approach to the game is very important in continuation going into the postseason.
Offense versus defense. Colorado Springs second in the entire USL in goals scored. New Mexico United is one of the best in terms of stopping their opponent. Third least amount of goals allowed in the Western Conference.
Yeah, Mexico United, I think they've only conceded 28 goals so far this season. I think in the Western Conference as in third. And we spoke to Brendan Burke and we said, you know, how do you plan to break down this defense and create chances? And he feels like the space is down the sides of them to exploit with playing just three players at the back. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about exploiting that space throughout the course of this game.
Colorado Springs were on a slump. They had lost 2 out of 5. They hadn't won in about 2.5 weeks, and then they played Tampa Bay, a team that's red hot. They come out and they shut them out, a clean sheet, and they get a goal in the 66th minute from Enriquez. And that was a story last week, and now they try to replicate that on the defensive side.
Yeah, and we also spoke about Mexico United having one of the most stingiest defenses, but in the 5 games leading up to tonight, they've conceded 9 goals, only scored 5, and only have 1 win in those last 5 games. So despite having one of the most stellar decent defenses in the Western Conference, they've been on a very rocky run of form recently, and that's something they're not going to want to continue into the playoff stretch. They need to turn that around now, start to build the cohesiveness and confidence back into the team.
Yeah, New Mexico United also coming off a 2-0 victory. So both these teams hot into this game. And it's a matchup for third place out west. Colorado Springs 45 points, New Mexico United 42. And Chris, now's the time of the year we're looking at the standings. And this is a game we've had circled this week on our calendar. It could dictate a lot as we go down the stretch. And important to note, these two teams will also meet in the final game of the season as well. Both these teams feeling each other out to start off. As Oxford trying to clear. Reversing field over to Echevarria. This is Isaiah Foster, the Frederick, Maryland native. Back tapping to Oxford from Yardley, Pennsylvania. Colorado Springs did a really good job last week against the Rowdies of controlling the time of possession. Here's a chance, little touch midfield. It's Enriquez. 2 goals this season since coming over from El Salvador. Reverses to the right side, the shot towards the box, and it's blocked by Tambakis. An early play from the keeper.
Great opportunity there to get an early goal. You can already see them attacking the flanks and attacking the wide areas to create those opportunities. Goalkeeper does ever so well here. Whether it's good positioning or a little bit of luck, he does the right thing, keeping that ball out the back of the net. But there we saw that intent from Colorado to exploit the wide spaces and create goal-scoring opportunities through the flanks.
Elvis Amo had slipped behind the defense and was in a great position. And Tambakis, the Greek shot stopper, he's 5th in saves in the Western Conference, made the play. Long throw from Daniel Bruce. It's played out, and another opportunity for New Mexico United. They beat Monterey Bay 2-0 last week to snap a 4-game winless streak offensively. They had been stagnant at home, but on the road is where they've really excelled. 7-2-4 away from Isotope Park. Ryden tries to clear out to Moreno. Just his 2nd game back after recovering from a torn ACL. He wears number 10 in the gold uniform. Trying to split the defense is Amo. Almost had a goal a few seconds ago. Tambakis was able to make the save. And now New Mexico United methodically working up the field, trying to go on the counterattack. It's Bruce on the right side. Bruce trying to put it on his left foot. Sliding tackle from Foster as he knocked it away. It's a good sign from Colorado Springs. That back line has been exploited at times this year, but Foster was right on the money with that tackle.
You can very clearly see the intent from Colorado when they get possession of the ball.
Moreno, an opportunity left side. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris. He tries to cross, and it's blocked by Halsey. And now a whistle. Looks like Frater was looking for maybe an infraction on Colorado Springs. Halsey in the right place at the right time, the Virginia native. It's actually Oxford there, the defensive play. We saw this last week from Moreno against Monterey Bay. He's one of those guys that right out of the gate, he's looking to score that first goal.
Yeah, and against Monterey Bay, you know, that's a team that if you're going into the playoffs, this is where you look to get your goals and pick up confidence. A team down the bottom of the table, this is where as a striker, you kind of lick your lips with the opportunity to get on the score sheet. As a defender, you also lick your lips because you want to get the confidence of keeping clean sheets. And they're 2 characteristics that are very, very, very prevalent in top teams that are able to go on and win championships.
Here's a chance for Haji Berry, 2nd in the league in goals, and Tambakis comes out and makes the play. A couple threats from Colorado Springs in this first half.
It's a great run in behind there from Barry, but just nobody timing that run into the box to get on the end of the delivery, and a fairly straightforward clean-up for Tambakis.
Barry's been a better passer this year, so he was the MVP last season, Golden Boot winner. As that ball goes over the top, and Mahoney clears it back to Caldwell, and his kick will sail to the sideline. Already 3 more assists this year for Haji Berry than all of last season, and it's a reflection, I think, maybe of his more versatile game this season and what he's added to his repertoire.
Yeah, and I think he was a very talented youngster. I remember playing against him when he was with New York Cosmos, and he's had some experiences now where he's traveled across the world, played in different continents. He's more experienced now, and he's able to bring all of that together. And now, you know, he's doing very, very well and successful in his team right now. MVP, one of the top goal scorers, definitely one of the most offensive players in the league. And, you know, I think it will be probably be competing for best 11 at least come the postseason.
Off the left foot of Ryden at midfield. Berry pressures Ryden in the back. Somehow he got it to his teammate Moreno at midfield. Now Colorado Springs takes over. Chris, what do you remember from Haji Berry? I know it's been a little bit of time, but you came across him when he was early on in his career. Did something stand out about his play that caught your eye?
He was very composed. For a young player, he was very strong, and he had an exceptional eye for goal.
Crossing pass is blocked back. And now Switchbacks reset. Those qualities have really served Barry. A Rochester, New York native, Golden Boot, MVP last year, second in the league in goals scored this season. Into the box, just behind Barry, as Enriquez was looking for his teammate. Switchbacks keep possession. Colorado Springs reversing field. Coming off a 1-0 clean sheet, the 7th of the year for the team against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Trying to build on that. Here's Halsey. Left post over everybody, and it will roll to the corner.
There's definitely an advantage for Colorado in these wide areas. You can see they're numerically outbalancing New Mexico in the wide areas right now. Many times it's 3v2 in favor of Colorado. Just need that little bit of extra quality in that final delivery. There you saw they were able to penetrate, get into good areas, but just a little bit lackluster in that final ball into the box.
There's that number on Barry. 8 assists is what stands out. We know he can score, but he already has 3 more assists than he did all of last year as he continues to round out his game.
Yeah, and it's one thing to have one good season. You know, sometimes players can have that 1 year that just a little bit of luck and everything goes their way. But to do that 2 seasons in a row is not luck, but it's who you are as consistency, and it talks to the kind of caliber and the player that he's become over the years.
Barry had a brace 2 weeks ago, August 12th, against El Paso. That was the last time he scored. Since then, the only player in this high-powered offense of Colorado Springs to find the back of the net was Enriquez last week. Thankfully for them, it was enough to beat the Rowdies. What do you think of the pace right now for Colorado Springs? Normally, they're up and down, but they seem to be needling and being a little bit more patient on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of making the field as wide as possible and trying to stretch New Mexico so then they can try to create gaps that they can play in between. So they're being patient in the build-up. They're not forcing it forward. New Mexico have got good shape, so it's difficult to penetrate and play through them. So Colorado doing a good job of switching the ball from side to side, which means that New Mexico are doing a lot of running. And over the course of the game, they'll start to tire out, and that's when the holes will start to open up, and that's when they'll be able to penetrate and exploit them.
Moreno lets it go over his left shoulder. Barry chases him. A couple of stars in tonight's matchup. Barry and Moreno. There's Haji there. What do you think of Moreno's new hairdo?
I mean, it suits him. It suits him.
I like the color.
You just need a few more goals to secure it, and then he'll probably never change it again for the rest of his life.
He nearly had a couple last weekend as that ball is brought down on the one touch. Misplayed a bit by Frater. Now Barry to the sideline.
I'm not sure about Moreno, but I was a big fan of routine. So if I did something and it worked well, I would continue doing the same thing and not change it until something went wrong. So, if he changes his hairstyle and gets a hat-trick, I'm sure you're going to see that hairstyle for a long period of time after.
Barry just outside the box, and Tambakis will come up and scoop it out. Yeah, Moreno playing in just his 3rd game back after he suffered a torn ACL that sidelined him most of the year. He had a couple early opportunities last week against Monterey Bay, just missed them. Didn't matter, they won 2-0. But he has looked really solid for New Mexico.
And that win last week was obviously very important. As we mentioned, that's the only win they've had in their past 5 games. And to be able to get the win, but also keep a clean sheet.
Here's Barry trying to cross. Tambakis blocks it away. And it rolls out to Galena. Tambakis has been tested 3 times already. Galena centers. Nobody's home.
Good play from Galena, but just doesn't manage to pick out a teammate.
Foster the left foot. And once again, Tambakis gets dirty for the save.
But this all starts again with Barry creating those chances in the final third, driving at players, ambitious enough to get a shot off from that angle. Keeper does well to keep it out the back of the net, but puts it back into the danger area. And Galena just struggles to pick out a teammate with the rebound.
And Enriquez scored off a rebound last week. It was the 1 goal for Colorado Springs. It was Haji Barry who made the initial shot. Already 4 shots on goal for Colorado Springs. Fight for it on the far side between Azira and Galena. And a throw-in coming up for New Mexico United.
And of course, this game adds a little bit more spice to it than some of the other games that we see, being the geographical distance between these 2 teams. Both coaches labeling it a rival game, 4th versus 3rd currently in the Western standings. So a lot of pride at stake also in this game.
In New Mexico, seeking its third straight win against the Switchbacks. If you're Colorado State in this four quarters rivalry, when you played a team that you knew you were comparable with talent-wise, but they just seem to have your number, that probably adds something to it. As we see Galena come down with it, down to Barry.
Dreadful giveaway with that crossfield pass there from Hamilton.
Here's Galena, an opportunity, and a little bit high.
Hamilton will be thanking his lucky stars that Galena smashed that one over the crossbar. This opportunity comes from a completely misplaced pass, diagonal pass across his own defensive third. Colorado able to get possession of the ball. Again, Barry feeding Galena here, but just leaning back, gets under the ball way too much to test the goalkeeper, but that was a great opportunity there for him to get himself on the score sheet and put his team in the lead. Just didn't have the composure to finish it.
Galena stepped up his aggression in recent matchups. He had 4 shots against Tampa Bay. Not what he's known for, more of a passer, top 5 in assists in the entire league, but had an opportunity there, just a little bit too strong.
Yeah, you're expecting a player of that quality to at least test the goalkeeper in that kind of instance from that distance. You want him to be a little bit more ruthless in front of goal. You want him to have those characteristics where one chance turns into 1 goal, and at that we will look back on could become a huge opportunity wasted at the end of the game.
Colorado Springs been knocking at the door. Can they push it open? Already 5 shots in the early going. 4 of them been on target. Pretty easy save for Tumbakis, but they're making the keeper work. Enriquez circles around. He tries to reverse field. Amo. Galena crossing center box, nobody home. Suggs, or rather that was Swaggy heading it up in the air, and it will belong to New Mexico. New Mexico United won the last USL Championship meeting 3-2 at Isotopes Park last year. This is the first of 2 meetings between these 2 teams. They will match up in the final game of the season. That will be on October 15th at Isotopes Park. Tambakis, the Greek shot stopper, 5th in the league and 5th in the Western Conference in saves, 4th in goals allowed per 90 minutes. What a year he's had. And Chris, people like me, I think we like to look at saves, goals allowed, and think, okay, it's just the keeper doing that. But the defense obviously has a big role in that stat.
Yeah, and it's a lot to do with chemistry also, right? You could have the best players and they don't gel well together. So it's, as well as having the talent, you need to have the character and the chemistry that gels together very well. And I think that's what has allowed New Mexico to be very strong defensively over the course of the season, is that they've gelled very well as a unit. The goalkeeper, the central defenders, and the outside backs collectively. And of course, the midfielders and the strikers also play a role in keeping clean sheets. It's not just the defense on their own. So it's the mentality of the team, you know. They focus as a team on getting clean sheets.
Here's Enriquez looking to cross. Bruce in front of him. Some contact between Bruce and Enriquez. No whistle. And now Enriquez draws the ire of the official.
I like that matchup. I like Bruce and Henriquez going there. I like Henriquez's reaction when he loses possession of the ball. He doesn't complain to the referee, just gets up and chases back. But just in this instance, just be a little bit smarter. Rather than giving away the free kick, just chase back, get goal side, and put yourself in a position to win the ball back. But I like the reaction, you know, the tenacity to get back up and chase and not complain to the referee.
Daniel Bruce, the 2021 Somos Unitas Award winner, meaning he embodies the local community in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. As that one goes out of play, it'll be a long throw-in for United. Foster spins it away, and it's sent back to midfield. One team's been great at home, Colorado Springs. You just saw that number. They've won a vast majority of their points available here in Colorado Springs at Widener Field. And we mentioned it, New Mexico United, fantastic on the road. That's why they're only 3 points out of 3rd place in the Western Conference.
Yeah, you wonder how much the altitude plays a role in Colorado having an advantage. We know that those mountains and the altitude is nothing to take for granted. It does have an impact on your ability to work hard and close players down and it takes a little time to adjust. It's not something that you can go into and adjust over 2 days. So it's interesting to see that they're very strong at home because they do have that altitude advantage over their opponents.
Chris Wheaton's first shot of the game. It was blocked a few moments ago by Halsey. There's the number we thought about in the beginning. 67% of the time, Colorado Springs has owned the possession in this matchup, and that was a big key to their success against Tampa Bay. They had that advantage in the first half of their game last weekend.
Yeah, and the key is when you do have the majority of possession, you have to make that possession count. Otherwise, the opponents can have one counter-attack, and through that possession, you could find yourself a goal down. So they need to create chances and convert these chances to make the possession stand for something, because if they don't do that soon, then that statistic is not going to mean anything at the end of 90 minutes.
Halsey able to take it away. Rolls it back to Jeff Caldwell, who's coming off a clean sheet, his 7th this year. Something to kind of think about as we have a bit of a light moment. The 1912 tradition from New Mexico United. Now, usually it's louder at home, but New Mexico United fans began cheering at the 1912 mark, kind of here. That is the year New Mexico became a state. They finished at the 2018 mark, the year the Gold and Black became a team. They even do that in away matches. Kind of listening here, Chris, I guess we could, it's not quite as loud as it would be back at Isotopes Park, and you can kind of hear them cheering in the background.
And they want to cheer their team onto success. You know, the fans really do have a huge impact as the 12th. They're always called the 12th man, and it's real. When the fans do get behind you, it has a tremendous impact on you being positive and motivated and a little bit more energetic. But it also has a negative effect on your opponents. Your opponents, it's a little bit more harsh for them, hostile for them. It really does give the home team an advantage when the fans can get on top of them.
Contact, and a foul is whistled on New Mexico United.
Of course, there's also nothing worse than when your own fans turn against you at home. So it's important that you put on a good performance for them, and there's something that they can be proud of and resonate, because there's nothing worse than playing in a stadium and your own fans are turning against you. That actually motivates your opponents.
Good shot from our crew there just a second ago, as they showed some of those New Mexico United fans cheering in the background at 2018. Yeah, Chris, that has to be the most debilitating moment, is when you get the boo birds out, or there's a sarcastic cheer for the other team, or maybe they just happen to outnumber your fans. All right, a free kick here for Enriquez. Lobs it towards the back post, up in the air, and it will go out of play.
It's a good delivery into the box there. Just unable to get his head onto it. I think if he got any contact on that towards goal, Oxford would have definitely give the keeper something to worry about, but just slightly ahead of him. Not able to get the contact on it he would have liked.
And the depth of that pass, too, had to make it a difficult play for Oxford to finish.
Yeah, bending away from the keeper into an area where the keeper can't come and collect it easily. Defenders backpedaling. Those deliveries are never easy to deal with.
First touch from Makajili. He's got the start tonight for Cam Lindley, who is out, their leading assist player. Into the box for Barry. Behind him is Swahi.
Good movement there from Barry. Runs deep in behind, stretching the defense of New Mexico.
Cleared by Ryden as Barry was cutting. Ryden, right place, right time.
When Barry makes those runs and stretches the defense deep, it allows Colorado to get higher up the pitch. You can see how high their defense is, really trying to pin New Mexico in their own half.
Foster was chasing, but Bruce able to cut it off. He's been very active in this first half for New Mexico United.
And then New Mexico trying to be very direct in when they're defending, clearing the ball, and there's no black and gold players up there to receive the ball, so they're literally, it's attack against defense. When they're defending, they're just clearing it back for Colorado to rebuild their attack again.
Battle of offense versus defense. The black and gold New Mexico United, third fewest points given up in the Western Conference. Both these teams fresh off a clean sheet.
And you can already get a picture of this game. New Mexico at this stage, they're not interested in having the better possession. They're more interested in keeping their shape, staying tight, disciplined, compact, not allowing chances.
Galena beats the outside, and it's cleared away, but still trouble for New Mexico United as the shot goes off the shoulder of the defender from Echeverria.
And then possibly getting themselves onto the score sheet through a counter-attack or through a set piece. You know, you can sense when a team is comfortable not having possession of the ball. Not every coach or every team is focused on trying to be dominating possession. They're focused on being effective in winning the game. Every team goes about it a little bit different.
Right now, with that in mind, then, we're waiting for that big explosive play from New Mexico United.
But what it does when Colorado do have so much of the ball, New Mexico do a lot of running without the ball, and they end up getting weighed down and they get tired. And Colorado having the ball gives them a lot of confidence. So that can also have an impact on the game as it continues, that one team hasn't seen a lot of the ball, they're doing a lot of running without the ball. Eventually holes and spaces will open up. And at the same time, Colorado build a lot of confidence by continuing to touch the ball, rotate the ball, move the ball side to side, and interchange movements with each other. So it can go either way, but the first goal is going to be tremendously big in this game.
Already 3 shots for Colorado Springs, 1 on goal. They've tested Tambakis a number of times. Enriquez, it's one defender, tries to touch pass, and nobody's home on the sideline. 24 minutes in, no score. Colorado Springs in 3rd place in the Western Conference. New Mexico United is in 4th. The first of 2 matchups between these teams in the final months. It is the 4 Corners rivalry. And Bruce gets set to throw in. He brought it up in the beginning there, Chris. We talked to Coach Burke this week, and he said there's contact and a foul in Colorado Springs, a yellow card.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision from the referee. It's late, the ball's nowhere near, and it looked intentful. You can read his body language after. You know, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to stop the play. He knew the player got behind him. Just give away the free kick.
Referee Greg Dobka pulling out the card for Jimmy Ockford.
Now Ockford has to be very careful. You know, as a defender now, every tackle has to be timed to perfection. He can't afford to give away any frivolous free kicks. He's going to have to be on point for everything for the remaining 3 quarters of this game.
Ockford does lead the team in yellow cards with 7, but that's not always a bad thing. That means he's just an aggressive player, right?
Yeah, I also used to get the yellow cards every game. I used to know how to work the referee, but you did have to tread a very tight edge for the remainder of the game. If you get a very good 1v1 player who pins himself up against you, you know, they're going to be very intent about trying to draw free kicks from you. And it may not be one bad tackle, but it could be the accumulation of 4, 5, 6 yellow cards that could end up allowing you to get the second one and having an early shower. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ockford is able to control himself through the remainder of this game, and if New Mexico actually change their tactics and target him and put one of their better 1v1 players up against him in order to try and suck that red card out of the referee.
Chris, you mentioned you knew how to work the referee. How do you work a referee?
I don't know if there's actually a playbook for working the referee. I think you just, after time, you just try to do nicer things after your first yellow card. Maybe close your mouth a little bit more often, left back chat. Be more apologetic if you do make a foul that's a little bit late time.
Halsey had momentum. It was taken away by Azira, then he lost it out of play. Throw in from the near corner for Colorado Springs. They've had 3 shots. Other opportunities that have brought Tambakis out and forced him to make a play. As Chris has said, right now the strategies seem to be clear. Colorado Springs wants to control the tempo. They want to play aggressive. New Mexico United is sitting back, and they're waiting for that quick strike.
Yeah, and you have to give New Mexico credit in how they weathered the storm. They're under a lot of pressure in the opening 15 minutes, and now things have calmed down a little bit. The pressure stopped coming on so much, and the game's kind of petered out for both teams. Both teams are kind of a little bit stagnant right now. But New Mexico did defend against Colorado very well when they were under those spells of pressure. Now it's going to be interesting to see how they build their own confidence and start to build their own attack and create their own goal scoring chances, because I don't think we've seen Caldwell have to make too many saves in this opening 30 minutes of the game.
That fan got the ball, hit it under his legs. You could tell he was telling the people around him not to say anything, but they're going to catch him every time. Our cameras caught him.
Yeah, I think he doesn't realize that.
You're on TV.
He's on player cam.
Yeah. The dummy, but it goes to nobody and taken away by Colorado Springs. 27.5 minutes into this first half. Good sign for the Switchbacks, a team that defensively had really struggled up until last week, and now they've gone, what would this be, 117 minutes plus between these past 2 games. As there's some contact with the near side, rolling on the turf is Foster. And a yellow card comes out, the first today for New Mexico. That goes against Frater.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit late. I don't know if I would have given a yellow card if I was the referee. But being consistent for these types of free kicks, I think Frater in this situation also knew he wasn't going to get the ball as Foster was motoring down the flank there. The referee was quick to call it back and distribute a yellow card. Be interesting to see if both these teams finish the game with 10 men, with 11 players, given the way the opening 30 minutes has gone.
The physicality is picking up. Kevon Frater, the Jamaican, is playing in his second stint with New Mexico United.
And the 2 yellow cards that we had, it wasn't like they were bad time tackles. It was just frivolent free kicks where you know the player's got past you and you're not catching him, so you've taken him down.
Iron Enriquez getting set for the free kick. Again, deep by the near sideline. Enriquez scored the only goal last week for Colorado Springs. In the 66th minute, he tries to deliver here with no score in the first half. And Enriquez delivers up in the middle, and Tim Backus punts it away. It stays with the Switchbacks.
Again, Enriquez delivering those balls deep into dangerous areas for players to attack, but there's just no one attacking that ball again, but it is in the right area.
Across center box, a chance in the middle, deflected by Portillo. His right foot may have saved an opportunity. Quick touch is here on midfield. Now he circles back around and slows the tempo. Bruce on the right foot, looking across, dumps off in the box. Back to Bruce. He tries to fire, and coming up to make the play is Caldwell.
And there's the danger that we see from New Mexico on the counter-attack. They've been under a lot of pressure, but you now see what they're capable of producing. Quick interchanging passes, direct passes, switching play, players driving forward and finishing with a shot off on goal. A better strike there could have given them the opportunity to take the lead in this game, but that's the threat when Colorado throws so many bodies forward. They can get caught in the counter-attack because the defenders in these moments probably switch off a little bit because they haven't done too much defending or been under too much pressure, and there's the opportunity there for New Mexico to take advantage of that.
The best opportunity so far for United. Caldwell finally tested.
Weehan and Bruce combining well on the right-hand side of the field there.
We haven't talked about Weehan often today. He's been locked up so far. Chris Weehan, 6 goals to lead the team. It's been Daniel Bruce who's had a lot of opportunities offensively.
Yeah, when we saw what Weehan's capable of doing from set pieces, so giving away free kicks in and around the edge of the 18-yard box is something that Colorado are not going to want to do tonight, given the goal that he scored in his last outing.
It's about the time United really turned things up last week against Monterey Bay. They scored 2 goals in a span of about 60 seconds, the 38 and 39 minute mark. At midfield, Mahoney. Akajili getting the start tonight for Cam Lindley, the team leader in assists, is out this evening. That's a big loss for the home team. On the other side, Nico Brett not playing for New Mexico as it goes out of play. And I believe this will lead to our first corner kick. No, just a far throw-in. Galena hits the turf and cleared by United.
And that's what we're discussing. New Mexico are under pressure. They win back possession of the ball and they immediately just give it straight back to Colorado to rebuild the attack. They've got to do something more meaningful with the ball when they win possession of the ball.
Are they thinking long ball, quick strike there?
I don't think they're thinking anything because it's not a good pass. There's no teammate in the area. They're just kicking it, so it's not good from any angle. Any way you look at it, they're not keeping possession, and it is not good build-up play or attacking play. So they just need to be a little bit more patient and composed when they do get possession of the ball.
Almost saw Galena there, and it was circled around by New Mexico as a 0 clear.
This is better from New Mexico. They won possession of the ball and actually finding teammates.
Bruce bends in the box, an opportunity just over the head of Justin Portillo as Portillo was cutting.
And that's not a bad idea at all. If you see Portillo, he's positioned right in between the 2 centre-backs and tons of space. Just if there's a little bit less power on that ball, he would have been able to control that and have tons of time to pick his corner to beat the goalkeeper. It's not a bad idea at all from Bruce with that delivery into the box.
Chris, I misspoke. Weon was there. Theo and Wee on their two top offensive players with Nico Brett out. Talked about that storyline. And then Lindley out for Colorado Springs. Dangerous ball with Barry back. Puts it on the right foot. Looking for Enriquez. Bruce battles in the box. And Enriquez. Help comes. The cross. And knocked out of play as Foster was looking for someone off the left foot.
Colorado have looked good when they've been able to find Barry making those runs in behind the back of the New Mexico defense. He just needs support a little bit quicker to be able to create something more meaningful, but he's been able to get deep and hold the ball up and bring teammates into play.
Echeverria resets to Mahoney. Two teams trying to build off big wins last weekend. Colorado Springs a 3-point lead on New Mexico United for third place in the Western Conference. And we talked with Coach Burke this week, and he said the goal for his team is to get that home game in the postseason.
Yeah, because at this stage, keeping the players motivated, you know, you can say the professionals, yes, they're always supposed to be motivated, they're supposed to play to the best of their ability. But when you know you're not going to make #1 regular season champions, and you can pretty much look at the table and see that you've secured playoffs, it's hard to keep the players performing to their maximum, knowing that right now their minds are literally going into playoffs despite having a number of games left to play. So I said, how do you motivate them daily, week in, week out from now to the remainder of the season, so that they're still at their peak when you do hit the playoffs? I said that everybody in the locker room knows that the objective is for them to get a home tie in the playoffs, and for that they cannot afford to take their foot off the gas. So the guys are very focused, very determined, and still performing to their maximum. And also the competition for places. Despite qualifying for the playoffs, nobody's place is secured to be on the starting 11. So that's what's keeping the environment and the mentality of the players very high now.
Frater trying to find Bruce on the outside, a little bit too strong on the kick. Throw in a precarious spot for Colorado Springs. Amo, quiet first half, brings it down. He's one of those guys, number 23 for Colorado Springs. 12 goals, he can strike in a hurry.
Very interesting also, if you watch the intensity of New Mexico in getting their shape when they don't have possession of the ball, sometimes you see teams and they just jog back into defensive shape. You see everybody.
Galena working on Ovuka, and it's cleared out by Azira, then contact near the sideline.
Galena providing a little bit of sauce there on the right flank, isolating his defender 1v1. Cheeky nutmeg, he does get the ball through his legs, but he doesn't manage to get possession on the other side of the defender and ends up turning it over. But it's always entertaining for the fans to see when you see players going 1v1 against each other. It's part of the game that we love.
And a player like Galena too, such a dangerous offensive player, 9 goals, one of the best passers as well in this high-powered offense under Coach Burke. Vuka made the defensive play. He's getting the start tonight. And it looks like a conversation between the official and Matthew Mahoney at midfield. Switchbacks are trying to fend off New Mexico. As we mentioned, a win ties these teams for third. And Chris, we talked about it. New Mexico United has had the Switchbacks number in this 3-year, 4 corners rivalry with a winning record, and they've won the last 2.
Yes, psychologically, that always gives a little bit more confidence to the team that has the upper hand. But never underestimate what the motivating factor that can do for the underdogs. And we mentioned how close these two teams are in the table right now, and how New Mexico coming into this game have not necessarily been on the hottest streak of form. There's a huge opportunity here for Colorado to come away with something different to previous results.
Foster left foot Enriquez. He bends it to the far post, looking for his teammate in the box. It was to Amo. And it goes out of play. Amo says, good pass. It's a bit over the top.
Again, we're seeing that bend in delivery into the box from Enriquez from this left-hand side, deep into the right-hand side of the box. I feel like if the run comes from a little bit more diagonal, a little bit later, it's going to be harder for defenders to time and mark. It's the right ball. It's the dangerous ball. The players making the runs just need to be a little bit more tricky or a little bit more deceptive in how they're attacking the ball.
Is there anything tactically or maybe technically Colorado Springs can do. Maybe Enriquez has to do it himself on that kick.
I think it's the attackers just probably need the timing of when they go to attack the ball. Here you see the defender's able to jump and get some body onto the player, and then he isn't able to get good contact. I feel like if the attacker holds their run just 1 or 2 seconds later and then attacks it with a little bit more speed, it makes it very difficult for defenders to pick up and have an impact at that point.
Kalen Ryden brushes out the cobwebs. Elite defending veteran in the USL, the New Mexico United Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. He's a tough guy to keep down. Very physical first half between teams that are kind of finesse
We've
style.
seen New Mexico's approach to build up again those long, direct passes to nobody that ends up just turning over possession back to Colorado. I think they haven't seen much of the ball. Maybe that's not their approach to the game, today's game in the first half.
Over the top to Barry. He brings it down in the box. Barry the shot. Barry the goal. Barry finds the back of the net, and Colorado Springs on top first. Haji Barry, second in the league in goals, and he adds to his total with a big score.
And I think this goal is deserved for Colorado. I think it's been coming. New Mexico haven't been good in possession. Even when they've won possession, they've just turned it straight back over to Colorado. And it was only a matter of time before they were made to pay. And Barry, on this instance, definitely made them pay. First, great running behind. Does ever so well here to get the ball under control, brush off the defender, then picks his corner beautifully and bends it into the side netting. Goalkeeper had no chance. That is Haji Berry doing what he does best, exploiting defenses and scoring goals.
Won the Golden Boot last year, former MVP. He hadn't scored in 2 weeks. And for Haji Berry, that's a long time. We knew it was coming, and now he's got 16 in the net this year.
Yeah, and if you look at the defending, it's not good defending. One player dives in, there's enough defenders there that they should be able to stop him from getting a shot from goal. If you're coming up against one of the league's MVPs last year, still one of the league's MVPs this year, you have to defend better than that. You have to stay tight to him, you have to get low, you have to block shots and make it difficult for him. If you look at the moment when he picks his head up to pick his corner, there's nobody putting a challenge on him, and Haji Berry's not going to allow himself to miss from that distance under no pressure.
And another opportunity for Colorado Springs. Amo is knocked down, no whistle. And the home team had been threatening. This felt like it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, we were worried that for the possession and their approach to the game they've had so far, that they may get made to pay for not taking their chances. But when you have an MVP like Barry, all he needs is one chance to make it count, and that's exactly what he did.
As Foster gets the throw in. The irony for New Mexico United, they scored in the 39th minute last week to put some space for them in Monterey Bay, and it was their opponent scoring at that exact same moment in this week.
And you have to give Colorado, we spoke about the strength of this New Mexico defense and how they're one of the most stingiest defenses in the Western Conference, third in goals conceded. And Colorado have found a way to break through that defense early on, not early on, approaching halftime. Hopefully, if they can keep the scoreline like this, they go into halftime with the lead, regroup, strategize to how they approach the second half.
Now, Chris, we've been talking about it as maybe this will be our answer. New Mexico United trying to play a little more aggressive. The road team here, the black and gold, they've been trying to be a little more passive, play defense and go for the long ball, the quick strike. Do they have to change things up here, now down 1-0?
Well, let's be honest, in this opening 41 minutes, New Mexico have not looked like a team that are fourth in the playoffs and looking for a home berth. They have looked like more of a mid-table side, maybe a bottom of the table side, and after they've performed in these opening 40 minutes. So in the second half, it can really only get better for New Mexico. They've got to do a better job defending, especially wide areas. They've got to get closer to Haji Berry, and they've got to do better in their build-up play. They can't just keep banging the ball long after defending and just turning it back over to Colorado. They've got to be a lot more methodical in their approach.
Moreno's been quiet. Wearing number 10, playing at the midfield. Highlighted him and Portillo at the top. Touch. Down to the corner. Azira. And he'll just knock it off the leg of Galena.
Smart play there from Azira. Realized he was in an area where there's not much they could win, but managed to turn it into a corner kick for his team. And now this is a great opportunity for New Mexico to put the ball into the box and try to create something, see if they can get themselves back to level pegging just before half-time.
First corner of the game. We are approaching halftime. Colorado Springs. In the 39th minute, a goal from Haji Berry, number 16 this season, to put him second in the league. Now Portillo's a T-Row Price corner kick, trying to even things up. Portillo, a little bit deep, and some contact in the box as Halsey went down hard. As we approach halftime.
It's a very deep out-swinging corner. I think the referee, it's a 50-50, both players going for this ball. It could have gone either way. He could have given a free kick, he could have given a penalty or just allowed play to continue, but there was definitely some substantial contact between the two players.
Yeah, Halsey got the worst end of that, banging into Michael Azira. But you're right, 50-50 ball. It's tough to go for the ball like that, control the body sometimes.
Yeah, you could see Halsey kind of saw the player coming late. The ball was traveling over his head and he just ended up on the receiving end. But this is the player that everybody is talking about for Colorado right now, and you can see why. Does a great job exploiting defenses, making runs in behind, holding up play, but also creating chances for his teammates and converting for himself. He's a player at the moment who's capable of doing everything as a forward.
What a stat there, too, as Halsey getting checked on by the training staff. What a stat for Haji Berry. 5 times this year he scored the opening goal. And I feel like that's a sign of a captain, a guy who comes out and sets the tempo early.
Yeah, leadership, you know. Sometimes you need somebody in your team who has the understanding of how to take the game by the scruff of the neck and carry your team forward. And I think he's done that in this game. You know, they created chances, they didn't convert them. He then gets hold of the ball and does convert and puts his team into the lead.
Brett Halsey, what a talented young player he is. A 7th overall pick in the 2021 Super Draft. L'Oreal Salt Lake walked off the field. And Caldwell the kick. He hasn't been tested a whole lot tonight. He faced 27 shots. This is an incredible stat, as Berry had an opportunity there. 27 shots in the 4 games prior to Tampa Bay. He only faced 4 against the Rowdies and stopped all of them, and so far he's not been tested today. Switchbacks, 8-1-1 when they score the opening goal. So good when they play ahead. 1 minute of bonus time. Berry gives chase, battles with Bruce. They both point to each other. It'll be a goal kick.
And you see the chemistry and understanding between the players. When the midfielders pick up the ball, they know where to put it from Berry. You see he immediately turns and makes runs in between the fullback and the centre back. Just a little bit, not enough pace on that ball to allow him to get behind on that occasion, but you could see the chemistry, the understanding. Barry knew where to run, the midfielders knew where to find him.
And Chris, you called it perfectly. Berry had a couple chances early. The pass was a little bit over the top. And you said Colorado Springs just had to adjust, time it better. They did. Berry got the goal. That will be the end of the first half. Haji Berry, with that captain armband, scores the only goal 39 minutes in. What a performance from the captain.
Yeah, and I think the goal doesn't sum up his performance. His work rate, the intensity that he brings to the team is what sums up his performance in that opening half. And I think he showed tremendous leadership capabilities. Not just converting the chance, work rate, mentality, leadership, defending, attacking. He's been everything for his team so far in the opening half.
Colorado Springs in this big Western Conference matchup, 3rd place on the line, lead 1-0 against New Mexico United behind Haji Berry. Plenty to play. We'll take a quick break, come back, recap the first, and look towards the second. 1-0 Switchbacks leading United.
Get your cell phone out and turn your camera on, because the Fox 21 Storm Team has a new weather app that you can download right now by scanning this code. It allows our team of meteorologists to send you push alerts wherever you are. It's a lot like us knocking on your door.
Oh.
With these weather alerts, we deliver important storm information for your specific area with detailed videos directly from the Fox 21 Storm Team Weather Center. It's weather in your neighborhood. Download the new Fox 21 Storm Team Weather app today.
If you're interested in the national, state, or local economy, I'll be doing an hour-long presentation on September 1st from 1:30 to 4:30 here at the Enns Center for the Arts. It'll be followed by Q&A and a panel dedicated to workforce. Registration is now open, uccseconomicforum.com.
Do you have a kiddo who loves soccer and the Switchbacks? Now's their time to shine. One lucky kiddo could win a family 4-pack of tickets to a Switchbacks home game. A chance to be featured on Fox 21's Loving Living Local. A photo with mascot Ziggy and Maximus, and the chance to kick a goal with them during Nava's game day preview. Just go to fox21news.com under the More tab. Click on Switchbacks FC and submit your child's best soccer playing photo.
Looking to grow your business? Fox 21 and SoCo CW are here to help. We can reach your consumers thanks to our award-winning news team, local sports coverage, and our connection and commitment to the community. Our exclusive partnership with Marshall Marketing will give you detailed demographics and buying habits in Southern Colorado, allowing us to target your advertising campaign with precision to maximize your advertising results. To learn more, email advertisewithus@kxrm.com.
Colorado Springs on top 1-0 at halftime against New Mexico United. Haji Berry with a goal 39 minutes in. It was a fun first half, also a fun matchup earlier this week between Hartford and Oakland. We'll get to those highlights in just a second. We're going to stick around for that. As we see them right here, this matchup was a fun one this week, Prince.
Yeah, tons of fun matchups this week. Can see a nice ball into the box, picks out his teammate, does ever so well, using the inside of the foot, just bending his past the goalkeeper into the side net.
Yeah, how about this goal? What a kick into the back of the net on that opportunity.
Yeah, penalty kick into the side net, and goalkeepers don't often get close to the one.
Yeah, Hartford will win this one against FC Tulsa, 2-1 behind that score.
Does well just to stay with the play here, follows up, he won't score too many easier goals than that one, but in the right place at the right time. Keeper gives him a gift.
Look at the Eastern Conference standings. They're tied at the top. You can see about 7 teams bunched together. Detroit City FC in a good spot to make that final playoff spot. Then it dips a little bit from there, but Tulsa still got a shot.
Yeah, the top 7 are pretty much solidified. Then there's a huge 10-point gap. It's going to be really interesting if anybody's able to break into that top 7 now. I think that's going to be what we see going forward into the postseason.
And Louisville City FC right there at the top of 55 points. Another great matchup this week. Oakland tops San Diego 2-0.
AC tried to slide it past the keeper. Keeper does well to push it out, but this is where wide players are so important. Following up in play. Don't just stand there watching. Make sure you stay connected to it. Great first touch. Drills it into the bottom corner of his second touch with his left foot.
Then this corner that led to another opportunity. A couple chances, and then the header off the rebound. That's frustrating for the keeper when that happens.
Yeah, keeper will be devastated with his defense. But here we see halfway line. Defenders trying to catch up to him. Does ever so well to get composed here and slot it home into the bottom corner. Cool, calm, composed.
Oakland got the win against San Diego 2-0. It led to this in the Western Conference standings. That's where we see the 2 teams you're watching today, Colorado Springs, New Mexico United, 3rd and 4th. You really look at those first 5 or 6 teams, but in the middle, it's pretty bunched up.
Yeah, and I think the key is we're looking at how the teams in the playoffs are performing right now. And as we spoke about, New Mexico's form in the past 5 or 6 games has been a little bit rocky. And again, in opening half tonight, they've not looked that great. So they're going to need to make some changes going into the postseason to regain that form and stability that's got them so solid in the top 4 right now.
We'll see if New Mexico United can make those changes. As they trail Colorado Springs Switchback 1-0 at the half. We're going to hear about Olson Plumbing and Heating in just a second. As you can see, Widener Field, the site of the action this evening, where the home team leads 1-0. Tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match is Jelena Reinhardt, registered nurse in the patient rehab department. Thank you for all you've done to help our community. The healthcare professional of the match is co-sponsored by Encore Electric along with Olson Plumbing and Heating. That is the Olson Plumbing and Heating Encore Electric. We'll take a break, come back with more on this halftime report.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Calling all Switchbacks fans. Now is your chance to be featured on Loving Living Local. All you have to do is submit your best fan photo on our website for a chance to be featured on Loving Living Local with our host, Nava. And you'll receive a fan swag goodie bag full of awesome Switchbacks gear. For your chance to be our winner, just go to fox21news.com under the Sports tab and click Switchbacks FC to enter.
Colorado Springs up 1-0 against New Mexico United on a 39th minute goal from Haji Berry in the matchup between two teams battling for third place in the Western Conference. Let's have a look at some news and notes from this week in the USL. A coaching carousel as the Hartford Athletic appoints Tab Ramos as head coach. Phoenix Rising FC added Juan Guerrero to its lead club. And then, of course, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup final. This is something you're going to want to watch. Sacramento Republic FC travels to Orlando City FC. An improbable run for them. They play Wednesday, September 7th at 8 on the East Coast. You can see that on ESPN Plus. And of course, the playoff picture. We got to keep in mind, with 10 or fewer matches remaining in 2022, all but one team is still alive with a chance to raise the trophy in November. Here's some of those scores with Indy 11, a game to watch against San Antonio FC. They won earlier today. Miami FC topped Louisville. Tampa Bay responds after losing last week to win 3-1 against Orange County. And then you see that big win for Detroit City FC over Charleston. A look at the upcoming schedule. Chris, I'm going to ask you as we look at this graphic here. Is there a game in particular that really stands out to you from this set of 6 that we have right here?
Nah, I think all of these games are pretty straightforward. You know, we mentioned that a lot of the teams are pretty secure going into the playoffs now, and it's just a case of momentum and concentration. It's seeing how the rhythm is going coming towards that postseason.
Playoff seeding up for grabs tonight. Colorado Springs leading New Mexico United 1-0, getting set for the second half.
You know, it says out of workshop for a reason.
I'm so sorry to bother you, boss, but
They moved the World Cup
to the holidays.
Wait, Like the actual World Cup? To my holiday season? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, but that's my time to shine. So, I mean, how am I supposed to compete with that? You know what? Get Blitzen on the phone. I got to get back up there right now. I gotta go.
Fox 21's Loving Living Local is exploring outdoor Colorado in this fully loaded 4xe Jeep Wrangler, and now is your chance to win big. Snap a pic of yourself enjoying Colorado's outdoors, submit that to fox21news.com, plus tune in to Loving Living Local for special segments highlighting things to do and places to see in our beautiful state. At the end of the year, one lucky winner will receive a gift certificate for a prepaid 2-year lease on a brand new Jeep from Perkins Motors. So show us how you outdoor Colorado.
Do you have a kiddo who loves soccer and the Switchbacks? Now's their time to shine. One lucky kiddo could win a family 4-pack of tickets to a Switchbacks home game, a chance to be featured on Fox 21's Loving Living Local, a photo with mascot Ziggy and Maximus, and the chance to kick a goal with them during Nava's game day preview. Just go to fox21news.com under the More tab. Click on Switchbacks FC and submit your child's best soccer playing photo.
We are Southern Colorado.
Saturday during the summers was our get up and go to Monument Lake fishing. From a little hobby as an 11-year-old kid, it's turned into quite a business.
Our stories matter.
If they're on the trails, if they're in the woods, if they're anywhere, I can be with them now.
Bringing you the most local news.
All of the people that are doing this type of agriculture are trying to do a better thing for society.
We are Fox 21, and together we are Southern Colorado.
Getting set for the second half of action. Colorado Springs leading New Mexico United 1-0. Haji Berry, the big goal, 39 minutes into that first half, as we have a gorgeous look at Widener Field on this Saturday evening. Here are the highlights from that first half as New Mexico United, they bring the fans for the Four Corners rivalry. It was Colorado Springs threatening early.
Yeah, Colorado Springs are doing a good job exploiting the wide areas. Early chance to take the lead here. Just unable to get this one past the keeper. Keeper making himself big. Getting a little bit lucky, the ball getting caught in between his legs, but great opportunity there from Colorado to get themselves on the score sheet in just the 3rd minute of the game.
Yeah, Timbakis got off to that hot start. Here's an over-the-top pass to Haji Berry. And then cross. Again, Timbakis was ready for it.
Yeah, Haji Berry again exploiting the back 4, back 3 for New Mexico, making those deep runs in behind. Just nobody making that run into the box to get on the end of that cross.
In that 13th minute, Colorado Springs would again threaten. It was Haji Berry. This was a sign of things to come. Berry playing aggressive in that first half.
Yeah, Barry involved in everything positive going forward for Colorado so far in this game, doing a good job getting the ball under control, driving at defenders, trying to get his shot off, making the keeper work.
And in that 39th minute, Colorado Springs would finally break through.
And again, Haji Berry beating defenders, but on this occasion, he doesn't lay it off on anybody, puts it into the back of the net himself. There you see composure, chops, glides past the defender, and then buries it, curling it away from the goalkeeper into the side netting. He enjoyed that goal.
16 goals this year for Haji Berry. So tough to keep him in check as Colorado Springs, that time of possession, we've talked about it a lot tonight, Chris. Colorado Springs, they want to have that possession lead right now, 65 to 35%.
Yeah, they've dominated the possession, but they probably want to get a few more shots off on target. 1-0 is not that strong of a lead for the possession they've had and the chances they've created. It's going to be interesting to see if they can have the complete performance, keep a clean sheet going and put a few more goals into the back of the net and still maintain the dominance in possession of the ball.
We're getting set for the second half of action. Ryan Pierce, Chris Nurse, great to have you with us at Widener Field here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It was a half dominated by the Switchbacks, but of course, New Mexico United has the offensive power to turn things around quickly. We'll see if they can respond here in the second half. These two teams battling for 3rd place. The Switchbacks currently 45 points. They're in 3rd place. United 42. Both these teams coming off clean sheets. In big wins, Colorado Springs topped Tampa Bay last week. United beat Monterey Bay. And now the Switchbacks looking for their 2nd straight win. The road team in the black and gold to start off the second half. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday evening. We appreciate you joining us here on ESPN Plus, the playoff run of the USL Championship. Be a long throw in for New Mexico United.
It'll be interesting to see how Colorado approach
Brett Halsey left the game at halftime. We saw him get banged up in a collision in that first half. Isaiah Ryan is checked in, the Grand Blanc Michigan player. As that ball goes out, could be a corner kick here. And Rashid Teta is in for New Mexico United. Sam Hamilton subs out. He wore the captain's armband last week, and he checks out today. There'll be a corner kick coming up for New Mexico United. An early opportunity in the second half. McDivitt Law Firm corner kick is the first one for the road team. As they set up in front of goal, watch out for number 10 Moreno. A quiet first half. United plays it passively. The chip towards the box on the left side. Backline ready for it for Colorado Springs. Oluka chases it down, will have the long throw. Heavy toss towards the box. Played by Echeverria. And cleared by Switchbacks. Barry battles in midfield. That's won by United. A quick touch to the sideline. Contact and a foul on the Switchbacks. Frater hit the turf. Amo is whistled. Frater there trying to make a move to his left. Amo just clipped him coming by. Mahoney. Colorado Springs, a goal in the 39th minute. I want to make a quick note. Issa Round came in and picked up a yellow card. Came into this match to start the second half. That's for Colorado Springs. As both these teams try to get their footing here in the second. A Barry goal 39 minutes in is the difference. First of two matchups in the final couple months for these two teams, the Four Corners rivalry. They'll meet at Isotopes Park in Albuquerque to close out the year, and that one could have some really serious playoff implications. Colorado Springs such a good front-running team. They're 9-1-1 when leading at halftime. As they try to pick up a win against the Switchbacks and close out a two-game losing streak against their rivals.
Interesting substitutions for New Mexico coming into the start of the second half. Taking out both players on the right-hand side of defense, Bruce and Hamilton. Of course, that's where they had some struggles in the wide areas because Colorado have been doing very well attacking those areas and overloading in the wide areas. So it's going to be interesting to see how those changes play out with Preston and Tete coming into the game.
Yeah, and Preston got the start last week in the win for New Mexico United. He started off the bench today.
Bruce had done well with some of his deliveries into the box in the opening first half. Offensively, some dangerous crosses, some good link-up play with Wehan to create a couple of half chances. But let's see what the changes prove for New Mexico. As we mentioned, the second half can only get better for them.
Only had one shot in that first half, and that leads to substitutions as they try to get more opportunities offensively. You mentioned it, Chris. Colorado Springs did a good job attacking that flank in the first half. Barry able to get a foot on it. United keeps it. All up the sideline. Here's Moreno. He finally has it on his right foot. Works on the defender, and it's knocked away as Moreno can't get momentum.
Good defending there from Colorado. Moreno 1v1 up against the defender. The defender does well to be patient, stays nice and low, and picks his moment to make the interception.
Armando Moreno suffered that torn ACL that sidelined him most of the year, came back a few weeks ago. Had a couple early opportunities to score against Memphis and Monterey Bay. His team still won that Monterey Bay matchup. Looking for his first goal since October 3rd of last season because of that injury. He was on ESPN2 against Louisville City with 13,000 in attendance. We'll see if Moreno can maybe strike here in the second half and even this thing up. Ovuka to throw in, got the start today. Solid first half. Player from Congo. That back line so stingy for Colorado Springs. We're talking about a team that had struggled defensively. A clean sheet last week against Tampa Bay, and right now 51 minutes, nearly 52 minutes in, they've not allowed a goal, hardly a shot.
Yeah, what Colorado need to be careful of in this second half is that they've started the game playing a very deep line, and they're allowing New Mexico to now get a little bit more possession and put them under pressure deep in the half. They need to get back possession of the ball, stay being aggressive and direct-ish in their approach, but
here's a shot to the post and knocked down as Caldwell was ready for it. Tough to tell if Caldwell got a hand on it or if the ball went directly off the post. Either way, a near goal opportunity for New Mexico.
Right now, Colorado a little bit stretched between the lines and allowing New Mexico to get in between them and start to have a little bit more success in how they're possessing the ball.
Tough angle for that shot. The first opportunity for United, that was Preston, who scored last week in the 39th minute.
Way to introduce yourself into the second half, Preston. Flicks the ball over a defender's head and gets a shot off on goal.
He's seen more playing time with injuries to some of the star players for United, specifically Nico Brett, their leading goal scorer. He's been so effective. Started last week and now comes off the bench today. Already a quick shot.
You can see Preston's coming to the game. I like what he's brought in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. He's trying to get on the ball as often as possible, trying to link up with players. He's been a bright spark so far. Interested to see if he can continue that for the remainder of the second half.
And Chris, it's clear the time of possession seesaw has gone the other way. New Mexico United controlling these first 8+ minutes.
Yeah, the danger is when you come up in the second half and you have a lead is that the team with the lead often don't come out with the same aggression that maybe they started the game with, and they drop off and they sit a little bit deeper and allow the team that's chasing them to have a little bit more possession of the ball. And as you can see, that's causing a shift in momentum because Colorado were very dominant in the first half, but they've been a little bit passive so far in the opening of this second half.
And Barry had eyes for Enriquez, a little bit strong on the touch. Makajili pressuring Moreno, forcing him to give it away.
When you have a 1-0 lead, whilst you don't need to throw bodies forward and leave yourself wide open, it's still important that you remain on the front foot, because a 1-0 lead isn't enough to say that you can just lock up shop and defend for the remainder of the game. You still need to stay true to what got you the success in the first place, and that was being very aggressive, pressing high, staying deep inside the offensive third and dominating the possession.
Portillo hardly have called his name today. He's second in the league in chances created. Has it at midfield. Touches top of the box. Colorado Springs back line giving Frater trouble. Now Portillo reverses field. United seeking space, and it's taken away by Foster. Through ball, just a bit tough.
Right out there, but just asking a little bit too much of Barry in that situation. Is a tough ball for him to get onto, but this is what New Mexico were doing in the first half when they were winning possession and just turning it back over to Colorado. Now Colorado, they've almost switched roles. Colorado win possession and they're turning it over to New Mexico. They need to just be a little bit more composed when they win the ball in those areas.
Moreno a little bit behind Wehan. He had room if it was on target.
That was a great opportunity there. Had that ball been played ahead of Wehan rather than behind him, you saw him having to drag his leg behind because the ball was dragging a little bit. would have been a great opportunity for him to go forward and get a shot off on goal. But you can see the passes a little bit luster there. Another errant pass there from Avuka, I think, on the left-hand side here when they had good possession of the ball. But definitely a lot better build-up play from New Mexico in the first 10 minutes of the second half than we saw for the whole first half.
You can feel a difference in the style right now. Coach Zach Prince clearly got to his team. It's paid off. We'll see if United can come through. Touch to Moreno with some space and taken away from behind. That was Rayon making the defensive play.
Yeah, good defensive tracking back there from Rayon. Just as Moreno was trying to get the ball out of his feet to get the strike off, Rayon positioned himself to intercept. What a ball forward.
That's a ball forward in the box. Crossing back to his right foot. The shot scooped up by Tambakis. Not a bad look there from Colorado Springs. Tambakis was ready for it.
It's a great run, a great ball forward, but there was just nobody supporting him quick enough. If you see when he gets onto the ball here and he slows it down here, he's just looking for somebody he could pick out to lay off to. He doesn't have anybody, so he has to take the shot on himself. Keeper makes it look very straightforward, but that's a great opportunity where Switchbacks need to get bodies into the box, making runs, bursting their lungs to finish that off.
Alvin Samo was looking for his third goal in the last 5 games. Didn't get enough on it. Gizicali picks up at midfield. Portillo battling with Rayon on the sideline, and Portillo gets whistled.
And Rayon's also had a good impact since he's come into the game. He's been getting on the ball a lot, little intricate passes, connecting with his teammates.
And Chris, help me out here. I was a little bit confused myself. Rayon came into the game and picked up the yellow card on this substitution.
Yeah, I think he entered the play before the referee gave him permission to enter the play. So if you enter the field of play before the referee waves you on and allows you, then he gives you a yellow card. And I think, no, I started most games, so unfortunately I didn't get carded in that situation.
Other opportunities to get carded.
I was normally getting carded to leave the field, not come onto the field.
United now slows down the tempo. About 12, 13 minutes into the second half. It's been a different story as United only 1 shot in that first half. They've been in control here in the second, trying to even up the score. Colorado Springs looking for their first win in 3 chances against United. They went 1-3 against their Four Corners rivalry opponent last year. They currently have a 3-point lead for 3rd place in the Western Conference. Both these teams hoping to build off of really strong performances last week. Over the top ball. And Galiput is running on it. Galina, excuse me, crosses to his right foot. Amo the big swing. And it's blocked by the back line.
And of course, if this result was to remain, it would put a little bit of distance between Colorado and New Mexico. Being the 3rd and 4th place teams, it would give Colorado just a little bit of breathing space in 3rd place behind 4th place New Mexico.
Coach Burke told us the goal for his team right now is to build off their success from last year, get a home field advantage in the postseason. Right now they're sitting in that spot in 3rd place in the Western Conference.
And Brendan Burke also played the underdog card massively. He spoke about the resources and the facilities and the brand that some of the other teams in the league have, and he played down his organization a little bit, but they're looking very good tonight. On the field, they've looked as good as any team we've seen so far this season, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can sustain this level of performance. I think Haji Barry has been key, and keeping him fit and healthy is definitely a huge part of any success they're going to have from now to the postseason. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out, but they've been impressive tonight, Colorado.
Galina got bumped by Teta. It'll be Teta with a throw-in. .50-50 ball. Comes down to Colorado Springs. Henriquez. Not enough on it. Seeking Barry. And back hit, scoops it up. At Widener Field, Colorado Springs up 1-0. It's over 2/3 of the way through. pressure. Moreno. That's actually Avuka.
New Mexico doing a good job there to play out of Colorado's high press. They allowed them to switch it, and when it got to this left-hand side again the second time, that's when they pressed aggressively, but New Mexico did a good job to stay composed.
Enriquez fouls Avuka on the sideline. Good sportsmanship to help him up. That's what you would do in that situation, of course.
Yep, that's what you call playing the referee when you're on the yellow card and you start to do good things so they maintain a good perception of you.
Barry, a little bit of momentum. Galena to his left. Barry, as Galena tumbles.
That's exactly the example. Barry has the ball for 5-6 seconds and he only has one option to play. They need to get more bodies making runs past him quicker when he gets the ball in possession.
Galena slow to get up. Ryan. He just punches it past the sideline. You might look at Galena here in a second as he's still on the turf. Looks like maybe the turf monster pulled him down. So we have an injury stoppage here brought to you by Centura Health. As Galena was a little bit slow getting it. Looks like he's okay though. Fatigue, I think, starts to come into play. We're in the dead of August. Hot temperatures.
Yeah, keeping the squad fit and healthy, as we spoke about, especially for Colorado, Haji Barry and what he brings to this team, as we spoke about. You don't want to bubble wrap him because competing and playing games is what allows players to feel confident and to play well. But the last thing you want to do is expose him to any injuries when he has such a big impact and such a big role to play for this team. So managing the load for the players is key in being successful. So coaches will be tested to the maximum as they come towards the latter end of the season.
It is a comfortable night though, 72 degrees in Colorado Springs. We talked to Coach Burke about that. How do you manage minutes? How do you manage player load? And he said that really comes to the practice field as opposed to taking away minutes from players during games.
Yeah, and if you're the players, you don't want to get substituted at all. Nobody player accepts, the coach is managing my load. You know, players want to play every single minute of the game as long as possible, as much as possible.
Avuka, an active second half, brings down the first touch. Switchbacks amping up the pressure. Foster clears.
Portillo's been a little bit more active in the second half in the middle of the park. There you see him picking up the ball from one side, spraying balls to the opposite side, getting on the ball a little bit more active than he was in the first half.
Both these teams without significant players, as offensively, New Mexico United takes a big hit without Nico Brett, their leading goal scorer, and then Cam Lindley is out for Colorado Springs, one of the top passers in the USL, their team leader in assists. That's probably played a little factor here tonight with the 1-0 score as that ball goes over the top. Cleared out by Caldwell.
Bad giveaway there, and again, bad giveaway on the left-hand side there for Switchbacks. Caldwell does ever so well to replay and come out and sweep that up. But Colorado need to be a little bit careful now in their giveaways. They're turning over the ball possession very easily to New Mexico, and the pressure, you can start to feel the pressure building now for that equalizing goal.
United's had a couple chances in this second half. Trying to break through. Avuka beats the double team. Avuka, center box. The little touch and go. Nifty play for New Mexico United, just couldn't finish.
Yeah, and if you look at Avuka's recovery run, he's completely out of energy. And if Colorado are clever here, they'll exploit the space he's left behind. But Portillo has become more active in the center of the park, finding players in wide areas in 1v1 situations. And there you saw a little bit of what Avuka can do, taking two players out of the game with one move, just didn't have the end product on the final delivery. But there's a tremendous opportunity if Colorado are able to move the ball quickly to exploit the space that he leaves behind when he goes forward.
And Enriquez jumps the defender. Now over the top, Galena. Galena off to the races. Galena the left foot, and it's high.
Wasted opportunity, I think, and Galena should have probably held onto this ball or driven forward a little bit more and looked to play somebody into the box. On his weaker foot from that distance, at that angle, is always going to be very, very hard to beat Tambakis in that situation. But great play to create the opportunity. I think they just need to be a little bit more smarter and patient in the final third, make a better decision. You did see him look up and try to get his head across to see if anybody was there. And that's one thing that Colorado has struggled, is getting bodies in the box quick enough when the ball's gone forward. Haji Berry gets his goal because of his individual ability to pick up the ball, take players on and create opportunities for himself. But in terms of getting the ball forward, holding it up and players making runs and supporting themselves when they get in the final third, this is where Colorado can definitely have room for improvement.
The back line for the Switchbacks continues to be stellar. They've not allowed a goal since they were shut out 10 days ago as they fell 3-0 to Sacramento. That was a Wednesday game in the box and booted away. Since then, they shut out Tampa Bay, and 66+ minutes, nothing for New Mexico United.
Brown and Mahoney under a lot of pressure on this right-hand side. A lot of 1v1 duels for New Mexico that they're getting the better of, but just the delivery when they get into those final areas just hasn't been good enough so far.
Is there anything United can do differently, or is it just the fact that the back line for Colorado has been really strong today?
I think if New Mexico continue how they are now, the chances are going to come because they're dominating possession. They're getting players in 1v1 matchups. You can see Avuka's become far more active in the second half than the first half. Just the quality deliveries, the final ball's the difference.
Rivas center box. And it'll be a throw in from the sideline. He was looking for Frater. Actually, it'll be a corner kick. It's a Pikes corner kick for New Mexico United. Only their second corner today. They said it must have gone past that end line.
You can feel the pressure building up now in favor of New Mexico. And this is what having more possession allows you to do. It kind of builds up the pressure. Over time, opportunity is going to come. It's only a matter of time before one of them is going to be converted into the back of the net.
Here is Portillo, the leader in assists on this Pikes Peak National Bank corner kick. Trying to even up the score against Colorado Springs in front of the United fans. Portillo in front of the net. And over the top it goes. Frater against Echeverria. Into the box and past the end line. Goal kick.
Good defending. The defender did ever so well to pull out of that tackle. I thought he was going to go in for the ball, and any little bit of contact there would have resulted in a penalty kick, but he actually made the right decision and recognized to pull out, and it ended up being a goal kick in favor of Colorado.
Has to be so tough for a defender. In that situation, her instincts are to play aggressive.
Yeah.
Stop the opponent, but you can't go over aggressive on those kind of plays.
If he'd have gone in full throttle there and dangled a leg, no doubt in my mind that he would have just connected with the defender. The referee would have given a penalty kick, but he pulled out. Good decision. Good defending.
That's been the story today for Colorado Springs. That back line has been good enough to keep New Mexico United off the board. And then Haji Berry in the 39th minute, a brilliant goal off a pass from Enriquez to put Colorado Springs up 1-0.
Yeah, and I think if Colorado, if they go back and reflect on this, the one thing, they've been defensively good, and then you have to question if they throw more bodies forward, does that make them more vulnerable defensively? But I think despite Haji Berry's individual abilities, I think if they're really going to be contenders in the playoffs, they've got to do a better job of getting bodies forward and supporting the attack rather than relying on one player's individual abilities. They've had the ball in very, very good situations in the final third, but there hasn't been players making those long runs to get in there, to get on the end of things. I think that's the next phase that they need to work on if they're really going to go on to potentially be contenders for playoff champions.
Third place on the line. Switchbacks currently a 3-point advantage over New Mexico United for third in the Western Conference. Battle of offense versus defense. Colorado Springs second in the league in goals scored. New Mexico United third in the West in goals allowed. And right now it's offense with the very small 1-0 advantage.
And I think if you were looking for what's the difference between these two teams so far, I think Haji Berry is the one who stands out. Looking at the New Mexico front three, Moreno, Freitas, Wehan, haven't really tested the goalkeeper tonight whatsoever, been an attacking threat to the point where you feel like they're controlling the game. Whereas in the first half, Haji Berry was that attacking threat for Colorado and dictating and controlling everything and dictating the tempo of the game and forcing defenders to make decisions and make runs. I think he's been the difference maker so far in this game, and nobody has stepped up so far for New Mexico to kind of hold that same role for them.
A free kick for United. Let's see what they can do with this opportunity. Less than 20 minutes to try to even it up. Delivery coming from Portillo. He's looking to the backside, and Caldwell plucks it out of the sky. Pretty routine for the keeper, Caldwell.
Yeah, not the best delivery, directly straight ball directly towards the goalkeeper. None of his teammates really had a chance of getting onto that. A wasted set piece there.
You know, Caldwell can smell that 8th clean sheet this year. Picked up his 7th a week ago. A little contact and a foul on Ovuka.
Fortunate there, Henriquez just holding on to the ball a little bit too long. Needs to get back to moving the ball quicker. He's giving the defenders an opportunity to steal the ball off him. He's lucky the referee. Lucky the referee gives him that decision, but they need to get back to moving the ball quickly, finding space. That's when they were at their best in the first half.
This time it's Rayon falling down as he's helped up. Mario Williams is checking in for United, trying to get an offensive boost as we go on the stretch run. And Yvonne Freitas, solid performance tonight. Subs out.
Ovuka had to be a little bit cautious on his left-hand side. That's just the third free kick that he's given away in like the past 10 minutes. Accumulation of infringes is going to result in the referee giving him a card sooner or later.
As a defender, you probably have that ticker maybe in your head, like, okay, I got away with that one. He gave me a look on that one. The next one, I'm going to get a card.
Yeah, the referees call it persistent infringement. Even though they could be soft or just minor fouls, the accumulation over time, they generally tend to put you into the book just as a kind of warning.
Home run pass, nobody home. Tempo has slowed a bit as we approach the final 17+ minutes. And another foul against United to stop play. That's Rivas getting whistled.
And of course, these stoppages work in favor of Colorado because New Mexico want the ball in play. They want to try and force a high tempo. They want to try and create opportunities. The stopping and starting just works in favor of the team in the lead because it stops New Mexico from being able to build any kind of rhythm or momentum in the game. So New Mexico want to stop giving away these cheap city free kicks and try to keep the ball in place so they can try to create goal-scoring opportunities.
They had some momentum to start this second half. They had a couple opportunities on Caldwell, the keeper, and over the past, maybe 5-10 minutes, the tempo has really slowed down. As you mentioned, Chris, that does favor Colorado Springs. Yeah,
and there we see like fatigue and concentration. Fairly straightforward clearance there. Ends up being an errant pass, always turning over possession there and allowing New Mexico to get the ball in dangerous areas. And that's the key going into this final third of the game now. Has to be concentration and quality. Decision making has to be key.
United 9 draws this year. That's near the top of the league. Enriquez, fancy footwork down to Barry. He gathers. Barry circles back out. Was looking for his second goal, the brace.
Beautiful pass there from Henriquez. He just wanted it to maybe be one stride quicker for Barry to get onto that, but see the step overs, then outside of the foot pass. Great play there from Henriquez.
A push on Williams, who just subbed in. They're working on Makajili. Got the start today. It's been steady at midfield for Colorado Springs.
Says he's maybe suffering from a little bit of cramp there in the calves.
75 minutes in. Cool night, 73 degrees, but the way this game has been very physical, that's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, 73 degrees, it allows the players to work hard. It allows for a fast tempo of play. It allows players to get the ball moving quickly and not drain as much as they may in, say, the heat of South Florida, where you have humidity, 90 degrees. It has an impact on the tempo of the game and the ability for players to recover from high-intensity effort. So I'm sure the players are really embracing and appreciating tonight's temperature.
It's gorgeous Colorado weather. United trying to build here. Time starting to become the enemy. And another whistle. Seems like we can't go 30 seconds without a stoppage.
Yeah, but many of these free kicks are against New Mexico, so the continuous stoppage in play is working against them right now, rather than in their favor.
They need one goal to even this up. A win, we've talked about it, Chris, would give Colorado Springs a cushion. Right now they have a 3-point advantage on United. Both teams seeking their second straight W. Maybe a chance here. Akajili over to Galina. Foster met by Wehan, who's had a quiet evening offensively. Whistle favors United, but Colorado Springs gets it right back.
And you can see a switch in the mentality of Colorado. Earlier in the game, when players got in 1v1 situations in wide areas, they still had a very offensive mindset. They pick up the ball, look forward, look to take players on. Because they're in the lead, even when they find themselves in good 1v1 situations, they're playing safe options and playing backwards, which is allowing New Mexico actually to put more pressure on them and get higher up the field. They need to still maintain that same aggressive, forward-thinking mentality when players get into wide areas, especially the offensive-minded players, because the defenders don't want to keep giving them the ball and then being put under pressure by retaining the ball in defensive third. They want to get the ball into dangerous areas so the offensive players can continue to be forward-thinking and create opportunities to score goals.
And if they can't, it would be the second straight clean sheet for Colorado Springs, a team that defensively was in free fall, had allowed 26 goals over an 8-game stretch. They only won one time in that stretch. Last week they shut out the Rowdies, and now threatening to do so against New Mexico. Jeff Caldwell, such a great keeper. He's had I would say, at least for him, by his standards this season, a relatively simple night. Lead pass down the sideline. Galina.
Oh, I think he's unfortunate to get called for a free kick there. He does ever so well to get onto that pass. It was a tough ball to get on in the first place. The defender definitely had the advantage. And Galina does well to stay with it.
What do you think? Is that enough there?
I think the defender drifts off and allows him to get the wrong side of him. I'm not sure. I think there was half of one, half a dozen of the other. I think it was a 50-50.
50-50 call.
50-50.
That time the 50-50 went against Colorado Springs. Had it not, Galina had a lot of space there to make a move towards a goal.
What was it? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
That's it. There we go. We've got that figured out now. 50-50 works too.
50-50.
Be a throw in for New Mexico. They're so good on the road. Rarely a loss, just 2 losses on the road this season, 7, 2, and 4. Looks like we got a sub getting set to come in for Colorado Springs. We're going to see from Carlton Belmar in just a few moments. As Enriquez had that big assist to Haji Berry. That's the difference today. Berry, his goal in the 39th minute. There's a miscue there from United.
Lapse in concentration, and that's the last thing you need. When you're trying to get yourself back in the game, these are the moments where you've got to concentrate a little bit more. Your team needs you to be responsible in possession. You can't give away possession to the opponent so easy when you're chasing the game.
Just 3 shots from United, 1 on goal today. of course, they're playing without Nico Brett, their top goal scorer. It didn't make a massive difference against Monterey Bay. They still scored twice and won that matchup. But today we're seeing Nico Brett such a valuable part of the United squad. And when he gets back, that will make a huge difference. But right now, as we see a quick stoppage in play for an injury. Presented, of course, by Centura Health, as thankfully, I think Foster's going to be just fine.
And this is a key part to success, right? You either need to be able to have a phenomenal season where you can keep your best players fit, or you have to have a very deep roster where even if one of your best players gets fit, you can bring in a backup who might not be equal, but still provides just as much cover as having your starter. And I think this is key to the best teams there. Either throughout their medical team and their staff, they're able to keep their teams as healthy as possible, or they have deep rosters where they can still bring backup players into the squad, where the team is probably impacted less by those injuries.
Coach Zach Prince for New Mexico United has built such a deep team. In his 4th year on this staff, he was there from the beginning, an assistant for 3, now his 1st year as a head coach. And what a year they've had, right in the thick of things for the postseason. Trying to make up some ground against Colorado Springs. They only have about 9 minutes to do so. It'll be a lot of fun to watch this matchup in a couple months when Nico Brett for United and then Cam Lindley for Colorado Springs is healthy. That one may have went off the arm of Barry. No call though, as Galena picks it up off the turf. Midfield, Akajili. Foster with room. Foster into the box. Blocked by Swahi. United up the sideline. Tata rolls. Kicked up in the air by Rayon. Saved Mahoney as he was able to keep United from the corner kick, and now they'll have a deep throw.
I think that was Preston out there on the right-hand side of the field putting the Jets on for New Mexico. Some nice touches.
There's Preston again as it's blocked for that back line of Colorado Springs. Now 2 players are down. Preston for United, and once again it is Foster for Colorado Springs.
Referee signaling for both trainers. Some nice skill there from Preston, taking on 2 players. You can see the speed there, even in possession of the ball, he's still able to get past defenders. Not the worst ball into the box, just again, nobody making those timed runs in there to just slide it past the goalkeeper. But Preston is showing some nice individual ability on that right-hand side of the field.
This injury stoppage is brought to you by Centura Health, as we are monitoring both guys down. It is Preston, and then we also saw Foster go down. These 2 teams, been a physical matchup.
Preston looks like he's injured his shoulder.
Yeah.
Foster, on the other hand, looks like he's suffering from a little bit of cramp in both of his legs.
Those always smart too when you land on the shoulder wrong.
Seems to be in some discomfort there.
Switchbacks fans, they've been in it since the beginning. Of course, United travels so well. Let's have a look at the critical moment of the match, sponsored by Centura Health. And of course, it was that big goal by Haji Berry.
Yeah, the running behind, the composure to beat the defender, and then the finish is sublime. Goalkeepers don't get those. When you bend it past him, away from it, into the side netting, it's like he's waving to his family in the crowd. He's never getting a touch on the ball in that instance.
Berry, 16 goals this season, 2nd in the league. That's something these Switchbacks fans will never grow tired of seeing. Haji Berry, what a player for this franchise.
Yep, comes up big when it matters most, and so far that goal could be absolutely crucial when they reflect on the season and trying to get that home playoff game.
If the Switchbacks get the W today, that'll be 2 straight wins for Coach Burke, a team that started the season red hot. Cooled off in the month of July and early August. It seems like maybe the corner has been turned. They still have 2 more at home before they go on the road to close out the back part of the season.
And of course, the more points that they're able to pick up earlier, if they can solidify that position, then they can start to rest players, whether or not that's a positive because you still want players playing, getting match minutes, staying sharp and going into the playoffs with momentum. Then you can manage their minutes a little bit more and try to keep them fresher going into the playoffs rather than having to play your best players every game because you still need to pick up those points. So the earlier they can kind of solidify that playoff space and be able to solidify that game at home, a little bit better for the managers to manage the minutes of players going towards the final few games of the season.
Some fresh legs in for both teams. Kristen Hodge is in for Isaiah Foster, who put some good minutes out there for Coach Berg for Colorado Springs. Then we're going to see from Devon Sandoval for New Mexico United. He will give Justin Portillo a quiet night for the chance-creating leader for New Mexico United we highlighted at the top. Some fresh legs out for Coach Prince and his team. Sandoval in for Portillo. We'll see if it pays off for United. They're running out of time. Speaking of running, Galena over the top of the ball. On the right foot of Barry. Rivas.
You can definitely see some heavy legs from Colorado now going into the final stages of this game. Sandoval coming into the game it's a positive for New Mexico, depending on how they use him. Such a big presence, set pieces, the ability to hold the ball up as a number 9. If they can get the ball into him and then get players around him making runs or set pieces into the box, huge advantage for them to be able to get themselves a late goal.
It's a big strength of United, their deep bench. In a physical game like tonight, will it pay off? Little touch at the top, rolled left. Avuka centers it and blocked by the back line of Colorado Springs.
Somebody's got to get out to Avuka there quicker and stop him being allowed to deliver the ball with so much time and space. It's not the best delivery, but he has so much space that it should have been a better delivery because he's not under any pressure.
Mahoney able to keep that from going to the back line. New Mexico United running out of opportunities. A collision at midfield as these two teams keep fighting. Echevarria colliding with Preston. And Echevarria might need a trainer, we'll see. Preston, big body to collide with. Yeah. More athletic players in our league.
He's also looking like he's still recovering from that shoulder knock. He doesn't look so comfortable also.
Preston picks up the yellow card. Watching here on the replay.
Yeah, just a little bit clumsy in that tackle.
Preston's been such a big player for United. Signed with New Mexico United after scoring against them back in 2019. He's the only player, I guess I should say the first player in franchise history to score against United and then sign with them as Carlton Belmore comes in for Jairo Enriquez. Enriquez, after scoring the game-winning goal last week, he has the big assist to Haji Berry in the 39th minute.
Yeah, Enriquez has been good. Every time he's been on the ball tonight, he's looked dangerous, crafty, tricky, trying to create things and make things happen. Played some good through balls to Barry, making runs forward. Probably just some fresh legs to kind of solidify the midfield now and try and see this result out. Maybe 5 minutes of additional stoppage time to go.
Yeah, we should have a good chunk with some of the injury moments we've had in the second half. There's Belmar, who started last against San Diego, July 18th. He's seen some sparing minutes throughout the season. Aaron Wheeler is in for Barry. Wheeler more of a frequent player on the bench.
Oh, 6 minutes. I was 1 minute. I said 5, 6.
You figured to be a fair amount.
There's a decent amount. There's been a lot of stoppages, free kicks, players going down. Now it's a matter of concentration and staying disciplined and organized for Colorado if they're going to leave this game with all 3 points.
Switchbacks 6 minutes away from their second clean sheet in a row. It'd be their 8th this season. What a turnaround defensively over the past couple games.
For New Mexico, they got to throw everybody forward. I think the substitutions were right. Barry looks like he was running out of legs. Enrique's running out of legs, and hopefully the legs that Colorado brought in now can just give them a little bit of fresh energy to see this result out.
Sandoval trying to head it at midfield. Another switchbacks player, slow to get up. Tristan Hodge, Trinidad and Tobago.
This is where you look on the experienced players on the field to manage the game. Colorado do not need to get the ball back into play quickly, but they do need to be efficient in possession when they do get it. Don't just pump it back to New Mexico like that. Try to find teammates who can hold possession of the ball, get the ball into the corner areas and try to run the clock down. Lose possession, get your shape, get 11 players behind the ball as quick as possible. Don't leave yourselves wide open to get exploited.
Physicality has defined this second half. Only a couple shots combined for these two teams. New Mexico United came out aggressive, and since then, neither has had many opportunities to score.
Yeah, it was one moment of brilliance from Haji Berry has been the defining factor in this game.
Berry scored in the 39th minute. And now the Switchbacks trying to hang on. Amo loses it, passes sideline. Hear the anticipation. Widener Field looking for their second straight win, their second straight home victory against a team that is maybe the best on the road, New Mexico United. Got a history, recent history, as there's another foul on United.
Colorado getting dragged around it a little bit. For me, Wheeler's coming to the game. Wheeler just needs to keep his shape with the rest of the team.
Man of the match, Haji Berry. Better Business Bureau man of the match, Berry. That phenomenal goal off the right foot, 39 minutes in.
Does ever so well, makes the run behind, gets the ball under control, settles himself, beats the defender, and then the finish is perfection.
Sight so familiar to these Switchbacks fans. Haji Berry has defined this franchise. MVP last year, second in the league in goals this year, adding to his total and putting the Switchbacks on top in a massive game between two of the biggest top teams in the Western Conference. Still chance though for New Mexico. Tambakis needs a strong clear. I started on the point a few moments ago. New Mexico United 2020, of course you remember they played all their games on the road. They became road warriors this year, only 2 losses away from Isotopes Field in Albuquerque, in danger of number 3. If you know this squad, these are 2 teams that you can put your money on and beat in the postseason. That final matchup is going to be a lot of fun between United and the Switchbacks in mid-October. As Caldwell can take his time. Looking for clean sheet number 8. He has been a favorite of these fans this season, Jeff Caldwell. Finalist for Keeper of the Year in the USL in 2021. Now Tambakis, he's gonna walk it forward himself. Deep kick. Dangerous ball. Here's a chance. Off the left foot, Tambakis pulls it in. An opportunity for New Mexico United, and Tambakis was waiting for it. Also the back line too.
Great chance for Williams there to write his name in the headlines. Ball just falls to him so fortunately. If he hits this clean with his left foot, I think the goalkeeper has a problem, but he just shanks it. Doesn't quite get any good connection on the ball. Caldwell does ever so well just to wrap it up at the end, but Williams here had the opportunity to get his name in the headlines.
And props to Mahoney. It looks like he got the block there off his right foot. Ockford was putting pressure on Williams as well. Both of those two have just been spectacular in the back line for Colorado Springs. Maybe one more shot here for United, and Caldwell soaks it up. That might do it here from Colorado Springs. Four Corners rivalry. This round looks like it's going to go to the Switchbacks. Ball spun, rolled to Caldwell, and that'll do it. The Switchbacks top New Mexico United 1-0. They end a 2-game losing streak in the Four Corner rivalry and take their second straight to hold on to third place in the Western Conference.
Great win for Colorado tonight. Honestly, they were the better team out there tonight from start to finish. Even in the second half, when they came under moments in the game where they're under tremendous pressure, they defended very well. Again, Haji Barry was the difference maker out there tonight. That moment of brilliance that he came up with early in the second half is what carries his team on to be victorious tonight.
Haji Barry's goal 39 minutes in was the difference. The Switchbacks beat New Mexico United 1-0 in round 1 of 2 in this 2022 season. What a performance by Colorado Springs backline. And that back part of the second half, it showed what this defense has done differently. They played great to hold on to the clean sheet tonight. Haji Barry, here it is, that big goal in the first half gave them the 1-0 win. We'll take a break and come back to recap it here. Switchbacks over United, 1-0.
We are Southern. Our stories represent our families, our friends.
Time for me to dig into this burger. It tastes like home.
Our stories affect change.
And the queen of the Blossom Festival is joining me now.
So we're very excited to have you here and learning about all these awesome things.
It feels like you're flying on the air.
That is awesome.
Bringing you the most local news. We are Fox 21, and together we are Southern Colorado.
Looking to grow your business? Fox 21 and SoCo CW are here to help. We can reach your consumers thanks to our award-winning news team, local sports coverage, and our connection and commitment to the community. Our exclusive partnership with Marshall Marketing will give you detailed demographics and buying habits in Southern Colorado, allowing us to target your advertising campaign with precision to maximize your advertising results. To learn more, email advertisewithus@kxrm.com.
Calling all Switchbacks fans. Now is your chance to be featured on Loving Living Local. All you have to do is submit your best fan photo on our website for a chance to be featured on Loving Living Local with our host, Nava. And you'll receive a fan swag goodie bag full of awesome Switchbacks gear. For your chance to be our winner, just go to fox21news.com under the Sports tab and click Switchbacks FC to enter.
Switchbacks defend their home turf. They've earned these fireworks tonight, beating New Mexico United 1-0. Haji Barry, a big goal in the first half. Let's go ahead and have a look at how it went down tonight in Colorado Springs. Switchbacks United fans from both teams were here tonight for the Four Corners rivalry. Switchbacks threatened early.
Yeah, some good play out wide, and this was a head coach focused on where he thought they could exploit. This is just the third minute of the game. Great delivery into the box. Keeper makes himself nice and big and is able to stop this one to keep the score 0-0.
Yeah, Timbakis had a really strong first half as he was threatened early and was up to the task. And another opportunity over the top, this time Switchbacks again putting the pressure on Timbakis.
Barry making those deep runs, trying to stretch the defense for New Mexico. Does ever so well to get this ball under control, but just nobody making the run into the box. Timbakis comes out and cleans that one up. Fairly straightforward save.
Switchbacks continue to put the pressure on New Mexico United. Here on the counterattack, again, it's Barry going to work.
Yeah, again, the ball under control. Doesn't have too much support to lay it off to, so he takes it on himself, beats the defender, gets a shot off. But that was a threat that he posed in the first half. More so than the second half, getting shots off, putting defenders under pressure.
They knocked on the door enough times in that first half. Finally, they broke it down. Haji Berry, goal number 16 this year.
Great ball over the top and behind. Badji does ever so well to get this ball under control, beat the defender, curls it into the side net, and keeper has no chance of saving that. Great finish, great composure, class from Haji Berry.
Yeah, you feel for Tim Backus. Great effort, just couldn't quite reach the strike from Haji Berry. Looking at some of these match stats, Colorado Springs, brought to you by Better Business Bureau. Colorado Springs, possession-wise, shots-wise, they were in control for most of the match tonight.
Yeah, New Mexico did manage to close the game a little bit in the second half, but it was too little too late. Switchbacks were dominant from the first whistle. Chances created, runs in behind, aggression, possession. Almost a complete performance tonight. As we spoke about in the final third, we feel like they need to get a little bit more support up to Haji and players making runs in behind. But I think there's a lot of positive momentum for them going into the postseason. For New Mexico, a little bit of a rocky patch, some work to be done for them to be a little bit more relevant going into the playoffs.
Happy fans tonight. Colorado Springs Switchbacks top New Mexico United 1-0. Enriquez had the big assist. Haji Berry the big goal 39 minutes in. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. Great work from our crew. For Chris Nurse, I'm Brian Pierce. We appreciate you tuning in. Switchbacks over United 1-0 on ESPN.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.